Hello everyone, and welcome to KR Graphics Art Design. My name is Kashif, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to take this model from Model Designer with all of its wrinkle detail from simulation and turn it into a workable mesh suitable for sculpting and for animation. Now, before I do anything, what you're seeing here is a t-shirt model with all its poly groups, which is derived from the panels that I drafted in the 2D view. But there's a problem. As much as detailed as the shirt really is, look at the topology. It's all triangular and it doesn't look good to me. And also, there's no way I can work on this. So what do? Well, first of all, we need to take this model and make sure that's symmetrical. Now, your first inclination right now, look at this shirt, is to go to Tool, ZRemesher, and set a number like 2 or something like that. Now 2 is a value I tried earlier this morning, which is fantastic. Actually, I'm surprised it worked like this. So if I hit ZRemesher and make sure symmetry is turned on when this happens. So hit ZRemesher and it will create a topology mesh. So here's a topology. However, actually, go back to that. Sorry. Set the 2. And 2 really means 4,000 polygons, triangles. So this is pretty good. It looks good from the front. It has all clean quad topology, good polygon flow. But it is a problem. If I go to the back here, you see this disgusting tear on the back of the mesh, and we can't have that. So let's work around this. So I'm hit undo. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need to cut the model in half and make it symmetrical. So I already showed you. So this delete by symmetry, which is found in the tool in geometry tablet. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit a button here, and what I can't believe, I've had this for ZBrush for 20 years now, and I never knew how powerful this button was, mirror and weld. So what it does, it essentially cuts the model in half and then remirrors it across. And no, it is not. It is not similar to the smart symmetrize or mirror in the So we go to the deformation tab, and it's a button called mirror. That does not the same thing. So right now, of course, now the model is symmetrical, we have this nasty red seam in the back, which means the model was not symmetrical in the first place. In this process, I decided to do this process because I usually work on garments inside of Modo Designer. And there are times when I want to make sure that my details remain asymmetrical. So let's go and do this now. So I'll hold Shift and Control and click on the poly group to select it, and then Shift and Control, left click and drag off the model to invert it and pick that seam there. And then we need to make this one poly group. So you hit auto groups, or you can hit Control W, which is the command for group visible. There's also auto groups, which also creates a poly group based on the model's topology. So let's go ahead and hide everything, and let's make sure too that the collar as well has its own poly group. There we go. Okay, so now that we have our model symmetrical again, and all the poly groups are ready, before you even think about doing ZRemesher, you probably saw that the topology, while it was very clean, it took advantage of the contours of the mesh. So ZRemesher, what it does, it analyzes the model, and then it creates polygons based on the contours or undulations of the model. However, in this case, we want a topology that's very clean, great enough for animation and sculpting on. So let's go ahead now and let's clean up the model a little bit. Let's remove all the wrinkles. So if you hold Shift for smooth and then brush a little bit and let go, it'll actually relax the topology, and that's what you want. You want to remove all of the wrinkles on the model before you do anything else. Because what happens is, if you don't remove the wrinkles, you're going to have a hard time with your garments. And now I've also seen this process done in other 3D packages, such as Maya, where where the end user will take the meshes from Mars Designer, the 3D model, and the 2D UVs, and draw over them in there. I think this process is so much easier, and I don't know if anyone's ever covered this. In fact, actually, wait, I'll take it back. Someone I saw on YouTube did cover this. In fact, I saw his tutorial a couple weeks ago, and I want to actually tried it today to do it here, and it came by accident. So you want further detail on how to do stuff like this. It's a channel by artist Michael Pavlovich, who does amazing tutorials. In fact, his YouTube channel is a absolute gold mine for ZBrush teaching and knowledge. Okay, so while I'm doing all of this, I'm trying to remove as much as possible from the surface. Now, of course, you're looking at this. Now, of course, I could also use Sculptris Pro, which is tied to this key here. So we can do this. Make the brush bigger. Now, be careful. Now, be very careful here when you do all this. Be very careful. Do not you don't brush over your poly groups. Let's make it a little bigger. And Sculptris Pro is another favorite brush of mine. It's one of my favorites so far. Let's do a little more. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying my best to get rid of all the wrinkle details. Here we go. And let's just turn it off. Because what happens here, I don't want to brush the poly group. Otherwise, it will cause some serious issues later. Okay, there we go. Let's keep brushing. And I know this part, it seems very long, but I wanted the model brushed to show you in real time what it looks like. Okay, so let's go ahead now and run ZRemesher. So go to Tool, Geometry, and we have it there too, which I found is a good value to work with. And here's ZRemesh. And if all goes well, we should have some very clean topology. Look at that. Ooh, now that's sexy. Isn't it great? Now, the one thing I love to do inside of ZBrush is to check for spirals. Now, spirals is something you don't want on your mesh, because I remember when they introduced ZRemesher, I believe it was in ZBrush 4R7 back in the day. And yes, I'm aging myself here. Spirals were a pain in the ass to get rid of, and so I'm going to use the Select Lasso tool and click on an edge to make sure that I don't get any spirals. Spiral meshes are by far the worst thing imaginable for a mesh like this. You do not want them there. And so far, so good. Looks pretty good to me. No spirals, especially in the areas of high deformation, like an arm or a leg. So I'm just checking very carefully, make sure there are no triangles, no abhorrent polygons, and we're good to go. I mean, except for the one here, we can always fix this later. Okay, so the next step now is we need to project all the detail from the first step to now onto this mesh. Now, the usual process for this is the old process is you would copy, make a copy of the high res subtool, and then you would come back and project the new copy with project all. However, if you have a mesh from Mars Designer and the details are asymmetrical and you have a symmetrical mesh, it may cause some issues. So this process I'm showing right now kind of mitigates that. So I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna go ahead and show you what happens. So let's go to Tool, go to Crease All, and divide about 2 times. Okay, that'll work. And we then go to the timeline here, the R2 history, hold Control and click on the first bar, and now we're back to where we started. Aw, that sucks. No, this is good, because now we now have access to the undo history. And here's the fun part for me. So I'm gonna go ahead now and hit project history and make sure the blur is at 0 so that we don't get any smoothing. And look at that. Isn't that pretty? Yes, 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 yes. And while you're here, the symmetry turned on. We go ahead and brush the mesh. Get nice and clean. Because look at this. It's a beautiful model, ain't it? Then you go in here and right now at this point, you can just stop. At this point, you're gonna stop here. And we can now sculpt on this. We can add details, and on top of this, it's pretty low res. But what if I want to go further? Well, because on this character, if I go ahead and go to my subtools real quick and unhide his pants, I want to show you that this shirt goes down here, and I actually want to hide the shirt. Well, I want to hide a part of the shirt in the bottom. So how can we lower the polygon count and remove edges we don't want? So this is where the project history is so powerful. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide I'm gonna solo the model, delete the high level subdivision levels, and once again I'm going to remove the detail, the wrinkles. And by the way, having polygroups here for your seam, polygroups here are great for making seams and stitches and piping. Oh yeah, that's a very powerful tool. So I'm just going real quick and just removing all the detail. Okay. So next up, I want to go ahead and I want to lower the polygon count by half. And to do this, I want to retain the edge flow for the arm as well as the neck area. So if I go up here, rotate the model around, you'll see that this junction here is very smooth. So if I hit crease partial, you're going to see that it goes around the entire model. That's what you want. So I hit this here as well, and there we go. We want that there. We want to make sure that when we do the subdivision, do the reduction, it basically retains all of this. And I can also go even further and add a ZRemesher guide. So I go ahead now and let me draw a curve because I can. Oops. All right, it's a rough curve. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So we're going to go to Tool. We're going to go to Geometry again. Is ZRemesher, and this time instead of the 2 count, I'm gonna hit half, and it should get some pretty good results by hitting half. Okay, maybe not. Smooth that curve. Don't need it there. Here's ZRemesher, and look at that. There we go. And we still have a good topology, though of course we have some weirdness going on there. Let's see what's going on with that. We can actually remove the extra crease there. And what I want to do, there we go, that's better. And we'll make sure that all this is still intact. It is. And check for spirals. Because yes, I know I keep saying it, but you do not want spirals in your model. Especially planning on doing UV unwrapping or even rigging later. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's check for spirals. Okay, good. So now this is the part of the tutorial where we're gonna have some fun and modify the mesh even further. And now I'm also going to show you how truly powerful the project history is. So we'll go ahead and delete the bottom polygons. Don't need any more. Oops. Don't need any more. Jesus. There we go. And we're going to hit delete hidden. That removes all the polygons out of contention. And we need to fix some issues with the topology. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and solo the model and delete by symmetry. Okay. So the next step here is I need to redirect the polygon flow from here to there. And a quick way to do this is I'm going to use a ZModeler brush, which I've actually modified for topology in ZBrush. I'm going to go ahead and hit insert single poly loop. So like that. Okay. And I'm also go ahead and stitch the points take one here, take one here. And usually what's unusual here is I usually do this stuff in Modo. But today I want to show you all how to do this in ZBrush, which shows you how powerful it can really be if you know how to use it right. Okay, and it's not working properly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the points in this really quickly stitching together. And the important part of this process is we're able to take your model at this stage, as long as you have that first history before you did anything. I can do whatever I want to this model at any given time. You know, and I mean, hell, even as far as you probably noticed now too. I mean, so far, of course, we deleted a subdivision history, we deleted polygons. It makes it so much easier too to do all this. And also, let me show you another trick as well. See this edge here? It's a little wavy. I'll go ahead and right click and use transpose. And I'm gonna go to tool. I'm gonna go to deformation. I'm gonna hit smooth. Or sorry, I'm gonna hit polish. There we go. And that's a nice quick way of making your edges smoother and cleaner. And same thing here. I'm gonna take the edge here. I'm gonna slide it down. Now I could have paused the video here and time lapse this, but I want to show you the actual process I go through in creating such detail. So right now we're just going through very carefully, and oops, let's be careful with that. And also the slide points tool works based on the radius of your brush. And this is very important too. This is where I'm taking my time right now as I'm going in and moving all the edges, relaxed edges, and so forth. Yeah, because this is a great tool. I love using it. So right now here, I'm going to go ahead and actually let me see so I can spin the edge. Because yeah, it's going to be a pain in the butt trying to get this in there. All right, I'll do this. I'm going to go ahead and delete the polygon. And then I'm gonna go and do insert single loop, like so. And we do a transpose on this edge right there. And I'm gonna go to black features. There we go. And the next step, I'm going to use a bridge tool. Like, I cannot believe I turned this into a topology tutorial. It's out of ZBrush. This is great. Okay, so we go ahead like that. And we need to remember that these poly groups here belong to each other. Let's go ahead and take that. Oops. And this one as well. There we go. And the important part is I want to make sure I retain that detail, retain that poly group, so that later on in my session, I won't forget about it. Here we go. Okay, that was really good. So go real quick. Nice and clean. That's the poly group. There we go. And now I often check for spirals. Often check for spirals to make sure there's none. So just real quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and just do a quick transpose. Here we go. Because yeah, I've been working ZBrush for years, and every day I learn something new. Let's go ahead and just slide the edges a little bit away from each other. Oops. Let's go ahead and slide complete. There we go. Kind of like that. Okay, so now let's go back and mirror and weld them all again. And now that we have the new modified shirt. This is a shirt I'm going to be using for Modo, for animation and sculpting. Oh, and also too, let me go ahead and check the bottom. Do a transpose. And yes, even though it's going to be hidden, I want to make sure it's a nice clean detail as well. I'll leave it alone. All right, so now the next step of the course is we need to reproject the detail back to the model. So let's go to Tool, go to Geometry, and we go to Crease, and then subdivide 2 times. Just for now, so looks like it looks like. Then hit Project History, and look at that, beautiful, huh? And the fact that that history went all the way back to the very beginning and saw all this is fantastic. And I think from now on for workflow, when I work on any kind of garments in ZBrush from Marvelous Designer, I'm gonna do it this way from now on. It makes your life a lot easier. So hope you guys learned something today about this process, because I had a great time teaching it to you. So if you learned anything today, I hope you guys come back for more videos in the future. Please leave a comment, even say hello, or even ask questions that I'll be happy to answer for you in regards to this process. So until next time, you guys take care of yourselves and have an awesome day. Thank you very much.